Ladies and gentlemen, it is a massive day for the unemployed. I had to interrupt my Final Fantasy VII playthrough, the 1997 version, to do this. However, we have a current situation for the user known as Deme, the VTuber on the internet. It's somebody who I actually used to be cordial with, but used to be acquaintances. I would say friends way back in the day. And then the moment I got in drama, there was no DM, there was no text, there was no call. Them and all of their buddies turned on me immediately, and well, here we go. You reap what you sow. Now nobody will have your back because you are a lying piece of shit. Now let's go ahead and talk about it. So Deme, in case you don't know, we're going to give you the beginning, and we're going to give you the middle, and we're going to give you the end. So we have Deme here saying, hey, just a reminder, I'm extremely uncomfortable with NSFW art of me, but why did you make your VTuber look like that? Just because I like sexy or hot things doesn't mean I want to see porn of it. It's just a VTuber. Who do you think of when you see it? Now, I want to make this very clear. VTubers who are so mentally deranged that they believe that they are their own VTuber, to where if people make porn of their VTuber models, think that they're getting raped or sexually assaulted or sexually harassed. I'm sorry to inform you this. It's a drawing, and you are not that drawing. Okay, I don't know how people think that they are a drawing, but that is fucking insane. And I find this very rich from Deme, as well as the majority of the biggest clips that she's ever popped off for are for being lewd, as well as incredibly flirtatious on stream. And then she wants to claim NSFW is too much for her. And then she decides to make a complete clown of herself, and immediately after retweets NSFW of herself within literally 2 hours of her making that post. So Chibi Reviews responds with, the level of virtue signaling has stun-locked me. Look at the repost. So he accuses Deme of virtue signaling, to which Deme then responds with, Chibi fans want to preach about men's mental health while making fun of a man's suicide attempt. By the way, so Chibi does the horrible act of claiming that Deme is a virtue signaler, to which Deme says, wait, OMG, aren't you the guy whose fiance literally cheated on you and your whole friend group sided with her? Lamau. So because Chibi called her a virtue signaler, she decides to clap back and say, lol, you got cheated on, all your friends abandoned you, and you attempted to kill yourself. Which is very rich, because later on, she says that she's a firm advocate for men's mental health while laughing at someone's suicide attempt, which I think is insane. She goes live to address the drama, makes a complete clown out of herself by playing a 24/7 rerun of her old VODs to farm revenue, which is also insane because she shits on people for making drama content only for revenue, and then does exactly that. And then Deme quadruple downs here and says, Chibi fans want to preach about men's mental health while making fun of a man's suicide attempt. I got slashed accidentally when I pulled the scissors away from him trying to save his life from a horrible decision. And by the way, a little bit of context for this. Deme claims she got stabbed by her ex-boyfriend. And then she got back together with her ex-boyfriend that allegedly stabbed her. And so people were bringing up how insane it is that she's making fun of someone else's toxic relationship when she knows how hard it is to be in a toxic relationship herself. The obsession with the cuck fantasy also checks out. I had no idea Chibi Reviews tried to take his own life, and I don't wish that upon anyone. Well, maybe we look into situations before we shit on somebody else for that exact same situation that we were in. I'm not going to apologize to a guy who dated a teen when he's pushing 30. Wait, what the fuck is she even talking about? Am I missing something? Oh, okay. So Chibi was in a relationship with a 19-year-old when he was 29. So AKA something incredibly legal and perfectly fine. We're doing this whole age gap is pedophilia thing, and you're attempting to insinuate that Chibi is a fucking pedophile because he has game and can pull a 19-year-old when he's 29. Hate to break the news to you, every single 29-year-old would date a 19-year-old if they had the opportunity to. So what you're saying is two adults dated and now you're trying to make it look like he's a pedophile? Hey guys. Two consenting adults is actually pedophilia. by the way. Scamming his fans of thousands of dollars in a lawsuit that never happened. Never in my life I ever heard people siding with a cheating future wife in any scenario. Yeah, I'm not surprised the guy doesn't understand boundaries and consent. Now we're implying that he is a rapist. Okay, so now we're implying that Chibi Reviews is a pedophile rapist just because he said that you were virtue signaling. If you want to hate me though, how I speak and carry myself, fair game. However, if you're going to always complain about harassment on Twitter and cause harassment on me getting physically harmed, it makes zero sense. All he did was call you a virtue signaler. And here we go. She's still going. I was too busy in Japan to see what happened on Twitter. What I meant by NSFWs is a lot of people are confused. I'm okay with lewd. Never have I not been okay with it. I just don't like seeing people fuck. To me, being a bitch, that's nothing new, and I've never been nice to people who I don't care about respect. Y'all are so bored that someone that doesn't really like porn made you got really riled up. I just generally really don't care. If you don't want to respect or even try what I meant, I see no reason to even be respectful remotely to some losers. I'd be lying if I said I was sorry. Guys, you need to ask the drawings for consent before you draw them getting fucked. So make sure that you ask these 3D anime characters consent before you draw a lewd version of Nami or Tsunade, otherwise it's sexual harassment. And the same person who says they were uncomfortable with NSFW of their character, so Deme got exposed for actually having sex on stream. Here's a great clip to watch. Try to get through this without vomiting.
We'll be ignoring that setting. Oh, I can pause it with nearly 100% certainty our friends have accounted for our nature, so I suggest we do. Giving the orbital probe cannon all the power it structurally would stand creates the greatest chance of finding the eye of the universe. Yes, the probe must travel as fast as it can and as far as it can. I see.
Yeah, it really makes you want to fucking vomit when you're such a degenerate. You have to have sex on stream while hiding behind a VTuber model. Weird as fuck. And then she tried to deny that it happened, and then some very obsessed Clippers found out the exact reason that she's actually hiding and that it was confirmed that she had sex on stream. And then here we go. We have the apology put out by Deme that was only put out after 5 days of being a massive bitch, which is a non-apology. I was ready to genuinely take this to the ground because of the idea that why should I ever feel bad being rude to someone who's a piece of shit? After some reflection, the thought occurred to me, do I really want to go as low as him though? All he did was say, you're a virtue signaler. That's all he said. He said, wow, you sure are virtue signaling because you also enjoy porn. And then you say, lol, you almost killed yourself. Lol, your fiance cheated on you. Lol, you lost everything in life. All he said was you're a virtue signaler. What are we talking about? And the answer was no. I said what I said because I personally think there's no scenario that a friend group chooses the side of a fiance that cheats. You'd be surprised how often that happens. I can't even fathom friends siding with a cheater. You'd be surprised by how often that happens. However, would I have brought it up if I knew he was suicidal because of it? Yes, you would have. I admitted in the previous tweet, so why didn't I apologize? Because he's this and that and blah. But I thought about it, that kind of ideology is quite harmful. I knew it was wrong and I admitted that twice, but I didn't apologize. So after my reflection, I am sorry. I'm sorry for bringing up a memory that made someone suicidal. It was a low blow, even if I didn't know, regardless of whether he was intentionally being a piece of shit. I don't want to stoop to his level. I'd rather be better and learn from my mistakes. There's a non-apology where you're saying Chibi reviews this shit, that he's a piece of shit. That's all you're saying. Nobody believes this shit. And the fact that this has 5,000 likes makes me sick, but that's okay because I know you're about it. And the comments are not letting her have this. You called him a piece of shit twice, threw in passive-aggressive orange heart, and called an apology. This is an ego trip. True. Our expectations for you were low, but holy fuck. Straub says, I don't want to stoop to his level. You stooped way lower than he ever did first. That was the whole point of this. If you're really sorry, just say sorry. This is a horrible apology, IMO, but it's not for me to accept or not to accept. Chibi, do not accept this apology. This is complete bullshit. And it's nice seeing another VTuber have a mask-off moment. I don't know how Chibi does it, but he drives people f***ing insane, and I think it's hilarious. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.